Every night, your body lies completely still. Your breathing drops into a slow, rhythmic pattern, and you become unresponsive to the room around you. Yet, while you are physically paralyzed, your brain is actively constructing entire worlds, filling them with movement, dialogue, and spatial geometry. For centuries, people documented these nighttime visions as cryptic warnings, messages from the divine, or hidden psychological symbols. Recently, popular culture has written them off as biological static, a meaningless neurological screensaver that plays while the body rests. But measuring the electrical and metabolic activity of a sleeping mind reveals a different reality. While you sleep, your brain consumes nearly the exact same amount of energy to generate these bizarre internal landscapes as it does to walk, talk, and navigate the waking world. Evolution strictly limits metabolic waste. A biological system does not burn massive amounts of daily energy on random, meaningless static. The extreme, vivid imagery of a dream is a highly coordinated, practical operation. The heaviest phase of this operation happens during rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. REM is a repeating phase of the sleep cycle characterized by darting eyes, irregular breathing, and highly vivid dreaming. As you enter REM, large portions of your cortex light up with electricity. To prevent you from physically acting out the environments you are imagining, the brainstem intentionally severs the communication signals traveling down to your muscles. This creates a state of temporary protective paralysis. Your mind runs through complex motor commands, like running through a forest, fighting off an unseen threat, or falling from a great height. But the physical body remains entirely disconnected from the simulation. Waking up unable to move is often terrifying, but the inability to move while dreaming is a strict prerequisite. It allows the nervous system to run extreme physiological stress tests without risking physical injury. This internal testing ground operates under a bizarre set of physical laws. You might be walking down a familiar childhood hallway, open a bedroom door, and step directly into a functioning ocean, and your mind accepts this transition as entirely normal. Brain scans of REM sleep isolate why this happens. The amygdala, the emotional center, flares with activity. Simultaneously, visual imagination centers at the back of the brain power up. But the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for logic and critical reasoning, remains noticeably dark. You accept a hallway turning into an ocean because the literal biological hardware required to ask the question why has been temporarily powered down. The resulting chaotic imagery is the byproduct of memory consolidation.
Memory consolidation is the physiological process of transferring fragile, short-term daily experiences into stable, long-term storage. Sleep organizes the daily fragments you barely notice. The brain links new incoming data networks with older, established pathways. This is why a person you met yesterday might suddenly speak with the exact voice of a relative you have not seen in 20 years. This chart shows emotional memory replay versus brain chemistry during REM sleep. As the brain replays difficult memories, norepinephrine, a critical stress chemical, drops sharply. This lower chemical state creates an insulated environment, stripping away the visceral physical alarm that usually accompanies painful memories. When this system falters, nightmares occur. In cases of chronic stress or post-traumatic stress disorder, the emotional systems remain highly active during sleep, and the chemical charge fails to drop. The brain replays the fear pattern, but the physical panic remains intact. Dreams do not exist to entertain the sleeper. They maintain a precise chemical environment engineered to process emotional data, keeping the mind cognitively adaptive for the next waking cycle. This raises a clear mechanical problem. The brain dedicates massive amounts of metabolic energy to building and navigating a highly vivid, chemically complex reality, and then instantly erases it the moment your eyes open. During REM sleep, the specific neurotransmitters required to form stable, lasting memories are kept at intentionally low levels. Unless you wake directly out of the REM phase, the data fades almost immediately. There is a rare anomaly in this process called lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is a measurable state where a sleeping person realizes they are inside a dream. In these moments, brain scans show the prefrontal cortex partially reawakening, allowing logic and memory to breach the sleep state and record the experience. For everyone else, Forgetting a dream is the natural byproduct of the system working correctly. The brain is optimized for deep internal processing, not for hitting record. Sleep is an active state of maintenance. It is an intense period of sorting fragmented data, building predictive models for future threats, and chemically adjusting your emotional baselines. To perform this heavy cognitive lifting without interference, the brain strictly requires your conscious, logical self to be paralyzed and entirely absent from the process. When you open your eyes and struggle to hold on to the fading, impossible images of a city that doesn't exist, you are catching the very end of an automated biological cycle.
The bizarre seams you remember are simply the feeling of your brain completing a deeply practical, highly organized, survival-driven overnight shift.